There's a primal force within you that modern society conspires to drain. A potent energy that modern society conspires to drain. But when harnessed and transmuted, it transforms you into a magnetic force, capable of attracting without words, seducing without gestures, conquering without effort. The question that should deeply trouble you is this: why do you keep choosing weakness when power is within your reach? Napoleon Hill uncovered the secret that separates ordinary men from history's giants. It wasn't superior intelligence, luck, or connections. It was the transmutation of sexual energy, the alchemy of transforming the most primal urge into creative force, personal magnetism, and achieving power. Tesla died a virgin, yet his inventions illuminated the world. Jobs channeled his passion to build empires. Gandhi transformed desire into peaceful revolution. They understood that sexual energy fuels greatness, but only when not wasted on fleeting pleasures. You live in a society that programs you from childhood to be a compulsive dopamine consumer. Endless free pornography, masturbation normalized as healthy, superficial relationships based solely on physical attraction. You're taught that satisfying every urge is freedom, when in reality it's enslavement. Every time you succumb to easy pleasure, you drain the life force that could make you irresistible. Every wasted orgasm is a missed opportunity for greatness. The average modern man ejaculates his vital energy 3, 4, 5 times a week, sometimes more. He wakes up exhausted, lacks focus throughout the day, feels anxious in social situations, stumbles around beautiful women, has low self-esteem, and blames everything but the obvious. He's literally draining his life force through his genitals. Sexual energy isn't just about sex. It's the energy of life, creation, and conquest. When you waste it, you waste your essence. But there's another path, the path of the inner warrior, who understands that true power doesn't come from satisfying desires, but from mastering them. When a man stops compulsive ejaculation, something profound happens in his nervous system, his biochemistry, his presence. His testosterone levels stabilize at higher levels. His confidence naturally increases. His gaze becomes more penetrating. His voice becomes deeper and firmer. His posture straightens automatically. Irradiates an energy that women instinctively feel, even without rationally understanding it. Seminal retention isn't sexual abstinence, it's conscious transmutation. It's taking the fire of desire, and instead of wasting it in a 5-second explosion, feeding it to the flame of your ambition, your creativity, your inner strength. It's alchemy, turning lead into gold, impulse into purpose, need into power. The man who masters his sexual energy doesn't deny his masculine nature, he amplifies it. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if, instead of draining your vital energy several times a week, you accumulated it, refined it, directed it towards your goals. Imagine waking up every morning with an electric energy coursing through your body. Imagine waking into a room and feeling all eyes turned to you, especially the women's. Imagine having such unshakable confidence that you don't need to prove anything to anyone, a presence so magnetic that words become secondary. That man exists within you. He always has, but he's asleep under layers of social conditioning, unconscious habits, and self-destructive patterns. Pornography teaches you that women are objects for your pleasure. Compulsive masturbation programs you to seek instant gratification. Superficial relationships make you believe that sex is only physical. All of this conspires to keep you weak, dependent, craving female approval. An emotional beggar disguised as a man. The truth that sets you free is also the most painful. You're addicted to ejaculation. Your brain has been hacked by a vicious cycle of dopamine and prolactin that keeps you in a constant state of neediness and low energy. Every time you ejaculate, your body interprets it as if you fulfilled your evolutionary mission of reproduction. Your hormones plummet, your motivation vanishes, your presence becomes apathetic. You become a ghost of yourself. But when you break this cycle, when you stop draining your vital essence, something mystical happens. You begin to accumulate not just semen, but prana, chi, life force. Ancient Taoists called this Ging, the fundamental essence that determines your vitality, longevity, and personal power. Indian yogis speak of Ojas, the vigor that separates ordinary men from realized beings. Modern science calls it hormones, neurotransmitters, but the result is the same. You become more. Seminal retention is the first step on a much deeper journey. It's not just about not ejaculating. It's about awakening to a superior version of yourself that's sleeping inside you. It's discovering that sexual desire, when not wasted on fleeting pleasures, transforms into the most powerful force for conquest and fulfillment. It's understanding that your masculinity isn't between your legs, but in your ability to consciously direct your vital energy. Women possess a primal intuition that detects men who retain sexual energy. They sense it on a level that transcends reason. It's not something you need to speak or demonstrate. It's something you radiate naturally. Your presence becomes dense, magnetic, almost tangible. You enter a room, and the energetic dynamic shifts. Women are drawn in without knowing why. Men feel intimidated without understanding the reason. You become a magnetic pole that attracts and repels simultaneously. This happens because retained and transmuted sexual energy manifests as charisma, confidence, inner strength, and purpose. You no longer need female validation because your self-esteem doesn't depend on external approval. You no longer need to impress because your presence is already impressive. You no longer need to conquer because you become naturally conquerable. It's a complete inversion of the power dynamic between masculine and feminine. The average man chases women like a starving predator. He begs for attention, pleads for affection, humiliates himself for sex. His energy is desperate, needy, repulsive. Women instinctively sense this and pull away. Even when they get sex, it's always a negotiation, a transaction, a performance where they play a role they're not. They ejaculate quickly, lose interest in their partner, feel shame and emptiness post-orgasm. It's a pathetic cycle of neediness and temporary satisfaction. The man who retains sexual energy doesn't chase, he attracts. His energy is stable, centered, magnetic. He doesn't need sex to validate his masculinity because his masculinity comes from within. When he has sex, it's by conscious choice, not compulsion. He can last for hours because he's not desperate to ejaculate. He can even make love without ejaculating, transforming the sexual act into a spiritual, energetic, transformative experience. For him, sex isn't tension release. It's the circulation of vital energy. This mastery over sexual energy is reflected in all areas of his life. At work, he becomes more focused, creative, determined. His colleagues notice a shift in his presence. Bosses start to see him as leadership material. Projects that once seemed impossible become exciting challenges. Its transmuted energy transforms into productivity, innovation, exceptional results. Socially, it becomes the gravitational center of groups. People feel good around him without knowing why. His conversations become more interesting because his mind is sharper. His sense of humor improves because his energy is high. His confidence attracts genuine friendships and repels toxic people. He stops needing to be in groups to feel validated and starts consciously choosing who he wants to invest his time and energy with. Financially, the transmutation of sexual energy is the secret that Napoleon Hill discovered studying America's greatest millionaires. When you stop wasting your vital force on fleeting pleasures, that energy naturally channels into your material goals. Your ability to focus multiplies. Your persistence increases exponentially. Your creativity in problem-solving explodes. Money ceases to be a problem because your transmuted energy attracts opportunities like a magnet. But the journey isn't just about semen retention. It's about confronting your psychological shadow, your unconscious projections, your self-destructive patterns linked to sexuality. It's about understanding why you developed addictions to pornography, masturbation, casual sex. It's about discovering what childhood emotional wounds created existential voids that you try to fill with sexual pleasure. It's realizing that every sexual compulsion is actually a desperate cry from your soul for love, acceptance, purpose. Compulsive masturbation isn't about sexual pleasure. It's about escaping anxiety, stress, existential emptiness. It's a psychological defense mechanism that keeps you in an illusory comfort zone. Every time you feel any emotional discomfort, you rush to sexual pleasure like a baby rushes to its mother's breast. This keeps you emotionally mature, unable to cope with the real pressures of adult life. It turns you into a perpetual adolescent in a man's body. Pornography isn't just entertainment. It's neuro-linguistic programming that shapes your sexuality in a distorted way. It teaches you that women exist for your pleasure, that sex is performance, that your masculinity depends on physical dominance. It creates unrealistic expectations about women's bodies, about your own sexual performance, about what intimacy is. It disconnects you from the ability to feel real pleasure with real women. It addicts you to increasingly extreme stimuli because your dopamine becomes desensitized. Superficial relationships based only on physical attraction are just masturbation with an audience. You use the woman's body as an object for your personal gratification, just as she uses your body for emotional validation. There's no real connection, genuine vulnerability, mutual growth. They are two needy egos negotiating temporary pleasure. After sex, you both feel emptier than before. That's because you're wasting vital energies instead of consciously circulating it. And this is where you need to make a decision that will change your life forever. If you truly want to become the magnetic man who attracts women effortlessly, who achieves his goals with ease, who lives with purpose and power, then you need to start this journey now, not tomorrow, not on Monday, not next month, now. And so you don't miss any content that can transform your reality, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. Because what I'm going to share in the next videos are advanced techniques of sexual transmutation, practical strategies to master your impulses, and secrets that successful men use to channel sexual energy into personal power. Don't let the algorithm decide when you'll receive this information. Take control and ensure you'll be here when I reveal the next levels of this transformation. The true journey begins when you understand that semen retention is only the gateway to a much deeper transformation. It's when you realize that every sexual desire carries a message from your unconscious. Desire for domination might indicate that you feel powerless in other areas of life. Addiction to sexual novelty may reveal existential boredom and lack of purpose. Compulsion for female validation may show wounds of abandonment or rejection in childhood. Repetitive sexual patterns may be unconscious attempts to heal past traumas. The man who truly masters his sexual energy doesn't repress these patterns, he understands them, integrates them, transforms them. He recognizes that his sexuality is a mirror of his psyche. If it's fragmented, compulsive, needy, it's because his soul is fragmented, compulsive, needy. If it's integrated, conscious, powerful, it's because he is integrated, conscious, powerful. Sexual transmutation is in fact psychological and spiritual transmutation. This integration process isn't comfortable. When you stop using sexual pleasure as an escape from reality, you have to confront the inner demons you've been avoiding. Anxiety, depression, anger, fear, loneliness, all the emotions you've been numbing with orgasms now surface, demanding to be felt, understood, integrated. It's like waking up from a dream to discover your life has been on autopilot. It hurts, but it's the pain of the birth of a new self. During the first few weeks of semen retention, your body will protest violently. Nocturnal emissions, constant erections, intense sexual tension, irritability, mood swings. This is normal and temporary. Your nervous system is recalibrating to a new energy pattern. It's like a drug addict going through withdrawal. It feels unbearable, but each day you resist this, a day you become stronger, more centered, more powerful. The key isn't to resist sexual impulses with brute force that only creates more internal tension. The key is to consciously transmute that energy through specific practices, intense physical exercises that channel sexual energy throughout the body, meditation to transform desire into pure awareness, art, music, writing to creatively express the accumulated life force, focus work to direct an energy toward your material goals. Each technique is a form of inner alchemy. Conscious breathing is one of the most powerful tools for sexual transmutation. When you feel a strong sexual urge, instead of immediately satisfying it, breathe deeply and visualize that energy rising up your spine to your brain. Taoists call this microcosmic orbit. Yogis call it Kundalini Yoga. Science calls it targeted neuroplasticity. The name doesn't matter. The result is the same. You transform sexual energy into vital energy. Intermittent fasting potentiates the effects of semen retention. When you stop wasting vital energy through both ejaculation and constant digestion, you accumulate incredible inner strength. Your mind becomes sharper. Your body becomes more resilient. Your presence becomes more magnetic. It's like saving battery power on multiple fronts to have more energy available for what truly matters. Specific physical exercises can accelerate the transmutation process. Weightlifting naturally increases testosterone and channels sexual energy into muscle growth. Martial arts develop mental discipline and transform sexual aggression into personal power. Long-distance running transmutes sexual tension into physical and mental endurance. Yoga combines breath, movement, and awareness to circulate vital energy throughout the body. Your diet also influences your ability to retain and transmute. Processed foods, refined sugar, and alcohol decrease your willpower and increase compulsive urges. Natural foods, organic vegetables, and quality protein stabilize your hormones and strengthen your nervous system. You literally become what you eat, and if you want to become a man of power and discipline, you need to fuel your body accordingly. Quality sleep is crucial to the transmutation process. It's during deep sleep that your body produces testosterone, consolidates memories, and regenerates the nervous system. If you sleep poorly, your willpower decreases and your compulsive urges increase. Create a nighttime ritual that prepares your body and mind for restorative sleep. Turn off electronics 2 hours before bed, keep your room dark and cool, avoid stimulants in the afternoon. But sexual transmutation isn't just about practical techniques. It's about a fundamental shift in your identity and values. It's about stopping identifying as a being ruled by impulses and starting to see yourself as a conscious creator of your reality. It's about replacing a scarcity mindset with an abundance mindset. It's about exchanging the compulsive need for female approval, for genuine self-approval. When you truly integrate these principles, something magical happens in your relationship with women. You stop seeing them as objects for your pleasure or as sources of emotional validation. You begin to perceive them as complex human beings with their own journeys, challenges, and potential. This shift in perception completely alters the energetic dynamic between you. They sense that you don't need anything from them, that you are complete in yourself, and this awakens a primal and irresistible attraction. The irony is that the less you need women, the more they want you. The less you seek female approval, the more approval you receive. The less you chase sex, the more sexual opportunities appear in your life. It's a universal law. What you compulsively pursue always eludes you. What you don't need always comes to you. Semen retention teaches you this law in practice. Women are biologically programmed to be attracted to men who demonstrate resources, protection, and genetic stability. A man who constantly wastes vital energy subconsciously signals that he has no control over himself, that he is ruled by impulses, that he is unreliable to protect and provide. A man who retains and transmutes sexual energy signals the opposite: self-control, discipline, inner power, emotional stability. It's pure evolutionary biology manifested through subtle energy. This attraction isn't just physical or emotional, it's energetic. Women who have developed emotional sensitivity can literally feel the difference between a man who wastes vital energy and one who conserves vital energy and one who conserves it. It's like the difference between being near a depleted battery and a powerful battery. One drains your energy, the other energizes you. One leaves you tired, the other revitalizes you. One makes you feel empty, the other makes you feel full. When you master your sexual energy, you automatically become more selective with women. You stop accepting any female attention just because you're craving validation. You consciously choose women who add value to your life, who share your values, who inspire you to be a better version of yourself. Quality replaces quantity. Depth replaces superficiality. Genuine connection replaces mere physical attraction. This selectivity, paradoxically, makes you even more attractive. Women perceive that you have high standards, that you're not available to just anyone, that they would need to put in effort to win your attention. This awakens the female competitive instinct and puts you in a position of power in the relational dynamic. You move from the position of a desperate hunter to the position of a desirable prize. Sex when it finally happens, transforms into something completely different. It's no longer a desperate discharge of sexual tension, but a conscious circulation of vital energy between two beings. You can last for hours because you're not chasing the orgasm like an addict, chasing the next fix. You can focus completely on your partner's pleasure because your own pleasure doesn't depend on ejaculation. You can transform the sexual act into active meditation, spiritual growth, emotional healing. Sometimes you may choose to consciously ejaculate as a gift you offer to your partner or yourself. Other times you can make love without ejaculating, conserving your vital energy for other purposes. The choice is yours, based on awareness, not compulsion. This is true sexual freedom, not the slavery disguises as freedom that modern society promotes. The journey of sexual transmutation also awakens natural leadership qualities. When you demonstrate power over the most primitive human impulse, you automatically gain moral authority to lead other aspects of your life. People begin to respect you more, seek your advice, and be inspired by your example. You become a role model of self-discipline and self-control that naturally attracts followers. In the professional environment, this transmuted energy manifests as executive charisma, the ability to make difficult decisions, persistence in the face of obstacles, and creativity in solving complex problems. Bosses perceive that you have something special that sets you apart. Clients trust you more easily because they feel your inner strengths. Business partners want to work with you because your energy inspires confidence and success. Financially, the results can be extraordinary when all the energy you wasted on sexual fantasies, masturbation, and superficial relationships is redirected towards your material goals. Your ability to produce wealth multiplies exponentially. Your mind becomes sharper at identifying opportunities. Your determination increases to persist in the face of temporary setbacks. Your creativity explodes to develop innovative solutions. But perhaps the most profound benefit is the spiritual awakening that accompanies sexual transmutation. When you stop seeking transcendence through orgasm, you open a space for higher forms of spiritual ecstasy. Meditation becomes deeper, connection with nature intensifies, sense of purpose clarifies. You begin to realize that you are much more than a physical body with impulses. You are an eternal consciousness, temporarily embodied. The spiritual perception completely transforms your perspective on relationships, sexuality, and life's purpose. Sex ceases to be the ultimate goal and becomes just one of many ways to express love and connect with another being. Relationships cease to be about satisfying personal needs and become about mutual growth and service to the greater good. Life ceases to be about seeking pleasure and avoiding pain and becomes about realizing your maximum potential as a human being. The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of awakening, resistance, integration, and transcendence. There will be moments of doubt where you question whether it's worthwhile to forego immediate pleasures for long-term benefits. There will be moments of temptation where old patterns will try to pull you back into mediocrity. There will be moments of loneliness where you will feel like you are swimming against the tide of society. But there will also be moments of revelation where you realize how much more powerful you have become. Moments of gratitude where you are thankful for having discovered this knowledge. Moments of compassion where you feel sorry for men who are still trapped in cycles of energy waste. Moments of inspiration where you clearly visualize the maximum version of yourself that you can become through this practice. The secret is not to try to change everything at once. Start with small, consistent steps. Maybe reduce the frequency of masturbation gradually instead of stopping abruptly. Maybe replace pornography with reading or exercise. Maybe practice meditation for 5 minutes a day. Maybe improve your diet by eliminating one processed food per week. Small, consistent changes create large transformations over time. And when you finally fully integrate these principles, when sexual retention and transmutation become as natural as breathing, when you become the magnetic man who attracts effortlessly, at that moment you realize that the journey was about much more than attracting women or achieving material success. It was about awakening to who you truly are beneath the layers of social conditioning and unconscious patterns. You discover that you have always been powerful, always been magnetic, always been extraordinary. Society merely taught you to waste this innate power on momentary pleasures and empty distractions. Sexual retention doesn't create power, it simply stops wasting the power that has always existed within you. It's like cleaning the mud of a diamond to reveal its natural brilliance. And when that brilliance manifests fully, you become not just a man who attracts women without words, but a human being who inspires other men to awaken their own dormant power. You become a beacon of possibility in a world of mediocrity. You become living proof that radical transformation is possible for any man willing to pay the price of discipline and self-knowledge. The untapped and transmuted sexual energy is the sacred fuel that powers all great human achievements. It's the force behind every artistic creation, scientific innovation, political leadership, and spiritual innovation, political leadership, and spiritual awakening. It's what separates ordinary men from immortal legends. And now you know the secret. The only question remaining is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you squander it like you've squandered your vital energy for so many years? Or will you use it to become the most powerful version of yourself you always knew you could be? The power is in your hands, literally. The choice is yours. The time is now. Your transformation begins the moment you decide to stop draining your life force and start accumulating it, refining it, directing it towards your highest aspirations. When you become that man, you won't need to attract women. They will be naturally drawn to the magnetic force you radiate simply by existing in your full masculine power.